is happening, family? It is your man, CRB Jr., Courtney Robert Brown Jr., here with the other half of Big Boss Filmworks, Louis F. Stevens. What up, fam?
What up, everybody? What up, CRB Jr.?
You good?
Man, I'm great.
It is good.
Life is good.
Life is good. Me and Lou been on this journey. Well, the Big Boss journey now, decade plus.
Decade plus.
The grind approaching 2 decades.
Yeah, almost 2, if not.
03. Next year be 20 years, bro. 20 years since I saw you opening up City, man.
That's right.
Opened up the Negro League hookup out at Fairlane Mall. Was like, great candidate there.
Right.
You never know who's watching.
Never know who's watching.
Yeah, so wow, what a journey, man.
That's right.
What a journey. Lot of ups, downs, and learning lessons. And again, who'd have thought? Who'd have thunk it?
Who would have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it when I walked into your little your grandma's living room and was like, "Hey, Lou, let's make a movie." And he was like, "Okay, about what?" And I was like, it was these big fellas back in the 70s, and they moved the bag, and they was all on TV, and you was like, "Oh, that's a good story. Whose story is that?" And I was like, my dad, Eddie. To this day, I'll never forget that. It's like, "How you doing, Mr. Brown?" "Hey, how you doing?" 3 words. That was it. And then I didn't know nothing about him. And then Sean Dyson's like, R.I.P. He says, he was a big dope man. And I was like, what? It's like, oh, okay. And I didn't think twice about it. Not until after, like, what was it, 2 years? 2 years after? And then you came at me with the idea. Yeah. Heavy. And it will all be chronicled in Making the Mafia. Yeah. Actually, it was longer than that. So Dyson, that's like 04, 05. I approached you with the idea of doing the movie like in 2010. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was all the Hall of Fame. Yeah, you had a whole lot more. Oh, I swear, I didn't know nothing about nothing. I mean, and the thing was, and we'll get into the story here. You remember the story got robbed? Yeah. And the old man was like, "I'm going to have one of my people." Yeah, Rooster. But you still didn't connect the dots, like... No, man. Because I didn't... You know what? I didn't even know that your father had made that connect with him. I didn't know. You didn't know the Rooster worked for the old man? No, I didn't know nothing about it. Yeah, so the old man, the story got robbed there on Davidson, and the old man was like, "Well, check this out, Junior. I'm going to send one of my people in there. They'll calm the niggas down." Because he'd shoot a rock. Yeah. And... we didn't have any more security issues there. No. Everybody came in that store knew the Rooster. No, I came in. Rooster was not there to sell outfits. It was around the time you said, "Hey, it's employment opportunities here." And then my first day coming in, I saw this short man sitting there with this huge. The rifle was taller than him, and I'm like, "What the hell? What in the Yosemite Sam is this shit going on right here?" Wow. Yeah, it's so much. But today's story, the history of French Road, much chronicled, much ballyhooed. Those of you who do follow my man over Eddie there at Eddie Baby at Instagram, Real True Street Crimes on YouTube, the son of the fat man himself, the big man. Anybody who's followed any of his stories heard him speak about a spot that he ran on a street called French Road on the east side of Detroit. The address was 3875 French Road. It would be chronicled on the newspapers. It was regarded, I believe, at one time as the most notorious and most rated crack house or dope house in Detroit. The spot is, besides just its longevity and all of that, it's one of those conduits of the whole story, because we'll go into it. It was the overflow of all the things that Pops and Eddie and the big man had started in the 70s. This was like a part, as we've kind of chronicled these events, it was all part of like the Kingpin's last stand. This was the last... These were the last events and characters of people from the glory days, have really being the ones who ran the streets of Detroit, and their activities often led
'82 action on French Road. So, but those who don't know, me and Eddie Baby had started when last time he was in town, maybe in the summer. We had started to kind of unpack it, but I really want to kind of unpack it because it's just on a bunch of different levels. It's I think kind of interesting how this notorious spot began. So I got to take you back to like 1989.
Okay.
And what has happened in 1989 is I am living in New York. Eddie is still hustling in Highland Park. His old man has now been back sitting down for about 4 to 5 years from the indictment in '85. The whole thing with Pep and Black Butch when his mom, when the whole Jackson family got indicted. About 4 or 5 years has passed now. It's 1989. Our Bahamas connection had been infiltrated. One of the people up here in Detroit had got caught up in a jam out in D.C. and started talking. The old man tells the plug in the Bahamas, look, there's some problems back here. So the Bahamas things comes to a screeching halt. Then just to add to the issues of '89, the tail end of that Bahamas run, the feds run up into the old man's place there on 6 Mile.
Mm-hmm.
They find a pistol. He's still on parole from the case with Eddie in the 70s.
Okay.
Felon in possession of a firearm, automatic violation. He's given 18 months and sent to Springfield, Missouri. So when he gets violated, I move back from New York. Eddie has been playing a cat and mouse game with the Highland Park police for like 3 years, and they're just done with him. They basically tell him, you have to leave Highland Park. So now it's like early 1990. So Eddie's been banned from Highland Park. The police have said enough is enough. When we see you, we're gonna pull you over and arrest you. And I don't care if you're carrying a case of Bibles. You're going to jail if we see you in Highland Park. They're just done with him. Pop then got violated. No need for me to be in New York now because I was in New York working for him, handling the money end of his Bahamas thing. So I come back to Detroit. Me and Eddie Jr. click back up, and I'm like, so my spin. Eddie like, well, because his people got a lot of time, even though I think some of the family had started to come home. Not everybody got a lot of time, but his father got hammered kind of on his sentence. So Big already is like, I got to do what I got to do. We got to, I can't go back to Highland Park. I'm like, well, shit, I got 18 months for the old man come home. So, shit, money do need to be made.
Yeah.
And Big was like, you remember my cousins and them? Shout out to Kurt Richardson. Shout out to Dennis Richardson. Shout out to Little Den, R.I.P. Kurt, Dennis, Tony, the Richardson boys over there. R.I.P. Uncle Willie. So Big's like, Eddie like, you remember my family over there on French Road? And I was like, yeah, when we used to use, when we was kids, we would go over there sometimes. And he was like, yeah. He like, well, they know everybody on the east side. So we could probably, set up shop out of there. So now the Bohemian Plug, that's compromised, that's gone. Eddie been ran out of Highland Park. I'm not exactly sure. He had been hustling with Demetrius for a minute in Highland Park, and Demetrius been looking out for him. I don't know if this was during so much was going on here. Maybe that was during the period he had faked his death. Anyway, we knew a lot of people, but we didn't have a plug. We had a lot of plugs, a lot of people we could get work from, but not at the level that we to do the kind of business that we're used to doing.
Okay.
So, and me, I've never enjoyed street hustling. I didn't mind hanging out on the block, kicking it with the fellas, because a lot of broads always came by the spot. So that was the only thing that ever attracted me to being actually on the block.
Right.
But the economics of the time and everything kind of required on-hands management.
Mm-hmm.
Big always, and he's good at it. Eddie's good at street hustling and actually enjoys it. It was just time to really tell a great untold Detroit story because it kind of covers Detroit at its zenith.
Very interesting story.
We decided that we were going to make a movie.
All right, Rich Rossi with you with Motown Mafia. I'm with Courtney.
Louis Stevens.
Louis Stevens, Courtney Brown.
Courtney Brown Jr.
And Alan Al Prophet Bradley.
And this is an entrepreneurial, inspirational story too, because again, you know, I'm a real estate retail guy. You know, that's what my skill set is. But I'm a businessman, so I was like, you know, we're gonna do it. You know, sometimes when you got a dream, you won't have all the answers on how you're gonna do what you're gonna do.
What made this one unique was not so much the crime, but the intertwining with Detroit's history and the Motown era and kind of the economic decline of Detroit. And it's really the story of a family. And from some perspectives, it's has a happy ending, like you said. For others, it didn't have a happy ending.
Right.